What's up, y'all? You can see I just woke up. I got stuff on my face and stuff. It is what it is. I have listened to this podcast 3 times. You can ask Justin, DJ. I have listened to this 3 times. I've been sitting with this podcast for 24 hours now. Maybe 40, 24. Math is not my thing. And I've been going back and forth, and I've come away with 2 things in particular. Also, welcome to Nets Republic. This is the off-season stuff here. We haven't even cracked into actual off-season content because the Nets will literally do something every 5 days. It's just, I mean, just wait on it. But if you don't know, Kyrie Irving went on the executives, STC, etceteras. I don't know, the etceteras. I don't know, the podcast that KD does with his friend or whatever. And you can either look at this interview in 3 different ways. You can look at it as a Kyrie Irving fan. You can look at it as someone studying famous people and wanting to be one of them at some point, or you could just look at it as a Nets fan. And regardless how it is that you're going to slice this, I'm going to save you about an hour of your life. I listened to it 3 times, so I'll save you about 3 hours of your life. Kyrie is not going anywhere. That's what I got from the podcast. Now, other people have gotten other things, like Kyrie's hungry to get back. I didn't hear that. Kyrie is frustrated with how things went. I didn't really get that either. But to me, all I really got from that, and I've watched it 3 times, heard and watched. I listened to the podcast, which I'm getting old because I didn't know there was a podcast app. I thought it was just on Apple Music, but that's not here or there. But I'm sure Kyrie himself would look at this and be like, "Wow, that's all you got out of that?" Yeah, bro, that's all I got. I'm sorry. And it was a good interview. Shout out to the etceteras and is it Eddie? Like, shout out to him. It was a very good interview. It's just, as a Nets fan, and this is how I'm trying to approach this, because this is Nets Republic, right? This isn't Sever the Bond, right? This is Nets Republic. As a Nets fan, I just didn't get anything out of it. Like, he's talking about basically how he's not shook over the Celtics series because he gets paid to play basketball. And it's like, that's great for you, and that's awesome, but it's like, and Kyrie touched on this whole thing of he is a lot of things to a lot of different people. And again, that is great. If this was the Kyrie Irving channel, I would have a different takeaway from this. But this is Nets Republic, and this is kind of leading into a video I'm posting next week where it's like, I think we all need to collectively have a moment where we kind of understand that, like, will the real Nets fans step forward for a second? Like, we are not a collection of stands for specific players, right? We're Nets fans. We care about the team. Kyrie could get traded, and we're still Nets fans. Harden could come and go. We're still Nets fans. KD could whatever, and we're still Nets fans. And I think at some point in this equation, we've gotten lost in this. Now, when he's on our team, sure, defend Kyrie when it's necessary. Again, when it's necessary. But I think we're getting lost in the whole thing of we're Nets fans. And in terms of Nets fans, and this being Nets Republic, I didn't get anything out of it other than Kyrie doesn't want to go anywhere. And that's cool. That's great. We can ask him all the questions about, does he think he's in the top 75? Well, how about we get to the real meat and potatoes of this, and well, you didn't play like it in the first round. Like, and that's not slander. We're talking about the team. And I get he's a person. I get celebrities are people. Trust me, I get that on a much smaller scale. I am nowhere near as popular as Kyrie, but I get it. Like, I totally get it. I get it. But we're talking about the team, y'all. Is Kyrie the best fit for our team going forward? Maybe. But what I got from this is he's not going anywhere. He truly believes that he's a part of the decision-making process and that he is a part of whatever we're going to do going forward. He said things, which I'm sure you read in the headlines, that, we're trying to do a 4-year dynasty, and he wants 4 years of dominance or something like that. And that's great, but are you going to do it? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to present us a season where you're actually playing? Again, he wasn't hurt last year. At no point was he hurt. He was choosing to not play. And whether him mentioning it casually counts as taking accountability or not, like, I don't care at this point. The season's over, right? Like he already screwed it up. Like, it's over, right? Like, last season happened. It's done. We're sitting here watching Jaw take on Steph, like everyone else. Like, the whole thing of me wanting him to take accountability or make a change, like, that's over. The season's done. He ruined it. It's done. And there's a bunch of different people to blame. It's not just Kyrie. But it's like, my thing is, I was waiting for the part where he got on there and said, yo, we got slapped around by the Celtics. I'm sitting at home pacing, bouncing off the walls like Green Day. Like, we got to get back and handle this. All I got was he's confident because he's really good at what he does, and people doubt him, even though he gave us reason to doubt him, and it's going to be okay. Though he has given us no indication that it'll be okay, because every year it's something. Right? Last year it's the vaccination stuff. Next year it'll be because the price of gas is high or something like that and he won't play. And I understand that making a joke like that is like igniting a nasty demographic to take possible, I'll say it, racial shots at Kai. And I'm not like joining that camp, because that exact same camp will champion him for being allegedly right? So it's like, I understand that the Kyrie conversation is very loaded, but I'm trying to make it clear that we're having a framing of how does this affect the Nets, not Kyrie personally. And how this affects the Nets is, when he started to say things about when he was at home, he didn't know if he was going to get traded or cut or something like that. You gosh darn right, because I'm looking at Damian Lillard like, yo, you sick of losing, bro? You trying to... But the reality is, and I got cooked for that last video, which I don't really see how that's that hot of a take. I mean, Kyrie won't play, so, But anyway, what I'm sitting at now, and what I think we all should be sitting at, is we're stuck with Kyrie. I don't think Sean Marks has the whatever you want to call it to be like, yo, this isn't working, and do him like Harris, and do him like Jared, and do him like D'Lo, and all the others before. And I understand the comparison of Kyrie Irving over to those guys as a sore spot in the Nets community, which I'm fine with those takes, because at least we're talking about the team and not your favorite player. But I'm waiting for Sean to have the same energy with Kai. Now, Kevin Durant gets a pass because even when he's getting locked up and it's just sickening and pathetic, that's still Kevin Durant, right? The man purchased Gotham City, Batman, soccer, whatever, right? Oh, I shouldn't say that on Nets Republic, my bad. He purchased our soccer team, which is great. Soccer! Awesome. Good for Kevin. So Kevin's not going anywhere because now he is financially invested, and that's great. Woo! Soccer! Anyway, this is the one I get fired. I swear to God, this is the one I get fired. But anyway, Kyrie, on the other hand, just feels comfortable and doesn't want to leave 7 without really addressing the fact that you didn't play. And that led to other theories. And like, I'm being vague in this video because I don't want to jump the gun, because we're having a in-depth Kyrie video coming up. So I don't want to jump the gun and really get deep into what happened with Kyrie specifically. But sum it up, I've rambled enough. This hour-long podcast, whether you listen to it or watch it on YouTube, which I suggest you do both because it's very fascinating. Like, if you like Kyrie. It's very fascinating watch. If you're interested in the life of famous people or they're just like hoops, it's a very interesting video. And Kyrie seems like a really great guy. But in terms of Nets basketball, which is what we're all here for at the end of the day, Kyrie ain't going anywhere, and we're stuck with him for the foreseeable future. And while I think it's easy to come away from all the things he said and just take it at face value and say, oh, well, they're going to come back more focused and this is just the team that we have and everything's going to be great. And when you look at all the great teams, they don't just trade players like you need the chemistry and camaraderie. While I agree with that, I think there also needs to be a bit of acknowledgement, not just from us as fans, but from Kyrie himself, that when you are the literal reason why you've been here for 3 years and you lack the chemistry with whoever it is we've had on our team, maybe you're the problem, but cool. And for anyone wondering, I'll have the same energy when we talk about Steve Nash. I'll have the same energy when we talk about Joe Harris again. Like, the blame goes so many different places, but I think with Kyrie, and again, we're not having that conversation now. We're just talking about the podcast. Kyrie's probably not going anywhere. We're stuck with him probably for the rest of his career. And we just have to hope that the man, because again, I can't harp on this enough, decides to play next season. Because we're talking about a choice. We're not talking about he was hurt. This isn't the shoulder thing. We just have to hope that this next season, he decides he wants to play.